Another fascinating part of being in the bush is learning to read what you see, and it is especially interesting to learn about the tracks, scratching and scats left behind by the wildlife. It is particularly fascinating for children and a great way for them to learn to use their eyes and to keep them interested. When you visit a place, you may not see a lot of wildlife, but that does not mean the wildlife is not there. Wildlife may be nocturnal and only active at night, or it might be diurnal and active in the daytime, or crepuscular and only about early in the morning and late in the afternoon. Animals have to be alert, or they might get eaten, and a lot of the wildlife is very wary of humans and their noise. They may have exceptional hearing, eyesight, or sense of smell, and so move away or hide long before you get to see them. Sometimes you will see the other signs of animal activity, blossom or leaves or fruit on the ground from the activities of birds and nocturnal mammals during the night. And don't forget all the invertebrates, they leave sign as well. When you are looking for wildlife, move slowly, keep noise and movement to a minimum, and be aware of the direction of the wind. It is often better to find a spot and sit and watch for a while than it is to keep walking. Animals do leave lots of evidence in the form of those tracks, scats and diggings, which can help us understand who is around and perhaps what they were doing. Tracks are not always easy to spot, but they are easier to find in areas of sandy soils or mud, or on bare ground, like along walking tracks and in shelters. Tracks in the dirt can tell us a lot about what has been happening. For example, these tracks show a bandicoot has moved through the area, stopped and dug up something, and moved on. The track showed the animal was moving slowly, so not threatened. Sometimes you can see evidence of what was dug up, maybe a plant root or perhaps a beetle larvae. By observing how animals move, you can also see how the tracks get made. You can see how this kangaroo is slowly moving and the way its front and rear feet and its tail touch the ground. The tracks would be very different if it was running away. All the kangaroo and wallaby species leave similar tracks, but the size will be different. When you are looking at tracks, try to see if there are marks from feet, limbs, tails, and other things like claws, the shape of the foot, and the size. Snakes leave a smooth drag mark, and crocodiles both leave a drag mark with their tail when walking, but with their whole belly when they are sliding. Goannas leave a track with their tail that bends from side to side because of the way their body swings as they walk. The echidna, which has very large claws on its hind feet, leaves some quite distinctive tracks because the claws leave a mark. Sometimes you can see the tracks are new by how fresh and sharp the tracks are. Over time, the wind and other movements will erase the tracks. Scats or droppings are also evidence of animals being around. You will see lots of scats around if you look closely. The scats can also tell you a lot about the animals and what they have been eating. It's best not to touch the scats without gloves, but with a small stick you can investigate what has been eaten. In this case, lots of small insects in a cane-toed scat. Diggings and scratchings also help us know which animals have been in an area. Bandicoots and mammals like wallabies tend to make shallow scratchings, which are round or oval in shape. Lizards, on the other hand, tend to make scratchings that are more flat on the bottom. Kangaroos can dig for water in the sand of the riverbeds in the dry season, and some of our birds, such as the pardalotes and the rainbow bee-eaters, also dig burrows to nest in. Looking closely at tracks and scats can add greatly to your understanding of the bush.